What's up guys, TechGuys56. In today's video I'm going to be doing a video talking about a few products that were announced in the time that I was not making videos. Products like the iPad Air 2, the iPad Mini Retina 2, the new iPad Mini Retina, the Nexus 6, the Nexus 9, the Droid Turbo, and other stuff. So let's get into the video. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about today is the iPad Air 2, which is basically Apple's brand new tablet, which is a 8.9-inch tablet. It has a 8 megapixel camera that shoots in 1080p and also has 43 megapixel panorama mode. It also has a brand new processor, which is an AX chip that has 3 billion transistors, which is 1 billion transistors more than the iPad Air from last year. The iPad Air also has everything that most tablets have, which is Wi-Fi 802.11. It also can support up to 20 different LTE bands all over the world. It also is out as we speak right now, and the starting price is $499, and I think it goes up with every amount of storage you get. Also, it goes up if you get the LTE version or if you get the Wi-Fi version. The Wi-Fi version is cheaper compared to the LTE version. Also, with the LTE version, you will have to pay monthly fees for AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, and Sprint, which are the four major carriers in the US that will have this iPad Air 2. The next thing we'll be talking about is the iPad Mini Retina 2, or the iPad Mini Retina, the new one. It came out this year along with the iPad Air 2. It is the same thing as last year's model, but has a fingerprint scanner, so you can put your fingerprint to the home button, and whenever you unlock your phone, all you have to do is use your fingerprint, or if that doesn't work, you can put in a random passcode. The next thing we're talking about is the brand new Nexus 6, which has just been announced recently. It is now officially out on the Google Play Store. What the Nexus 6 name stands for is it is a 6-inch display. Well, not exactly. It is a 5.9-inch display on the Nexus 6. So if you are a person who likes big phones, you're probably going to like this phone. It also runs stock Android Lollipop 5.0. So you also get the first brand new, whenever a new software is announced for Android, the Nexus phones get it first. So if you are a person who likes to get the newest software, you're probably going to like this Nexus 6. Also, if you are familiar with the Moto X, it basically has the same exact design as the Moto X, but it is much larger compared to the Moto X of this. The Nexus 6 also has a Quad HD display. It also, just because it does have a large display, it does have the same footprint as the iPhone 6 Plus. So if you are aware of how big the iPhone 6 Plus is, the Moto X has a much larger display, but also has the same size as the Nexus 6 when it comes to all its dimensions, because the iPhone 6 Plus has larger bezels compared to the Nexus 6. The resolution on the Nexus 6 is 1440 by 2560, which is a amazing resolution. Is 2K, which is basically 2 times the resolution of 1080p, which is pretty good. But you're not gonna really notice the difference if you have a phone like that is 1080p. If you had the Note 4 or the Note 3 last year, you're not really gonna notice the difference compared to this year and last year. But it is better, and you can definitely see the difference by a tad bit. It's going to look more clear. Some colors might be more exaggerated, and everything's a little more vibrant and more nice. The Nexus 6 also has a 3,220 milliamp battery, which is great for long usage. You're going to get a lot of good battery with this device. You're going to have probably at least a day with this phone. Some people are getting 2 days out of this phone with probably minimum use. If you are a person that uses your phone heavily, like I am, you're probably going to get a day out of this phone for sure. But if you're someone that just uses your phone to call people, maybe watch a few videos, email people, text, you're probably going to get 2 days out of this device, which is great to not have to charge your phone every single day. The Nexus 6 also has a 13 megapixel camera with optical image stabilization. So if you're a person that has really shaky hands, you are going to have great use of this phone, because it has a thing in the software where it basically helps your shaky hands make the video or pictures look less shaky and everything like that, just like the iPhone 6 Plus has. It also has a Snapdragon 805 processor clocked at 2.7 gigahertz, so this phone is definitely going to be packing a lot of power. So if you're a person who likes to play a lot of games or does a lot of editing or something on your phone, you're definitely going to have lots of uses for this phone, because it definitely can handle most situations. Only thing different about this Nexus compared to most Nexuses, this phone is now at a flagship price because it does have flagship specs. This phone is going to be $649 for the starting price, but if you do get it on contract, it obviously will be less money. But otherwise, it's still going to have to be. You're still going to be paying monthly for the phone, so you're still paying. Eventually, you're going to be paying the full price. The next thing we're talking about is Google's brand new Nexus 9. So let's get into it. The Nexus 9, as the name suggests, has a 9-inch display. Since it is a Nexus, it's going to be obviously running the latest version of Android, which is right now Android Lollipop 5.0, as this video is being recorded. And it also is made by HTC, which is a difference compared to last year's model, which was made by LG, I believe. Or actually, I don't know. I know that the last year's Nexus 5 was made by LG. I don't know what the tablet was made by. Actually, last year there wasn't a tablet made by Google last year. But anyways, besides the point, it's made by HTC this year, so there's front-facing speakers on the Nexus 9, which is great for people that like to watch videos or anything like that. Also, it's rocking a Tegra K1 processor, clocked at 2.3 GHz. You can get 13 or 32 GB storage capacities. The resolution of the display is 2048 by 1536 pixels resolution, which is also 2K, just like the Nexus 6. So the PPI on this compared to Nexus, the Moto Nexus, is going to be a little bit less, but you're still going to be seeing not much of a difference because the display is still very high in PPI. Rhymes. It also has a very large 6,700 mAh battery, so you're definitely going to get a lot of time to play games or watch videos, email people, take pictures, or anything like that on this device. You're going to be able to do. Probably going to have to charge at the end of the day, but that's fine with a tablet. Most people don't use their tablets all the time, so you probably get maybe 2 days out of this. The Nexus 9 also has a 1.7 megapixel camera on the front and an 8 megapixel camera on the back, so you can get your selfie on with this device, and also maybe take some few pics, but I wouldn't recommend taking many pictures with this device because the camera is not that great. I'd rather use my cell phone. Also, it is less awkward to shoot with a phone than it is with a tablet. Tablets are really awkward to shoot with, just they're so big, and it's kind of weird. But anyways, let's get on to the next topic. The next thing we're talking about is one of my favorite things that was announced this year so far, and that is the iMac with the Retina display, which is 5K resolution, which is really great. The price is pretty hefty, but when you think about it, it actually is really cheap. The price of the iMac with the base model is $2,500, which is actually really cheap because some 4K monitors are $2,500 or more. This iMac just does not just have an awesome resolution display, it also has killer specs. The resolution is 5,210 by 2,880 pixels, which is 5K, which adds up to over 14.7 million pixels, which is a lot of pixels. The base model has a 3.5 GHz Intel i5 processor, which is an entry-level model, but you can also get up to a 4 GHz Intel Core i7, which is a very fast processor. This also offers included 2 Thunderbolt ports with up to 20 megabits per second bandwidth per port. There's also an AMD Radeon R9 graphics with 1 TB of Fusion drive. Apple will sell this new iMac Retina display starting at $2,500, which is actually really cheap for what you're getting for this. So if you are someone that does heavy editing or maybe heavy photo editing and video editing, you're probably going to really like this iMac because you can definitely see your 4K pictures or videos very well on this 5K monitor. So the next and final thing we'll be talking about in this video is the Droid Turbo. Obviously, Droid is a Verizon-only phone, but is made by Motorola, if you didn't know that. But it has great specs. It has a new feature, which also included in the Moto X. This feature that the Droid Turbo has is also included in the Nexus 6, which is a supercharging feature, basically, where you can charge your phone up to 50% faster, which is 50% in 30 minutes, which is incredible. So in an hour, you basically have your phone charged fully, which is pretty good. I probably get about 2 hours or an hour and a half with my iPhone, so that's pretty good, but it's not something groundbreaking, but you still get pretty fast charge. Specs that the Droid Turbo is rocking are KitKat, which is not the newest version of Android, but it is pretty close. It has 4.4.4 KitKat, which is the latest version of KitKat, but that's the latest version of Android. But they are promising that Android Lollipop will be announced very soon with the Droid Turbo. It also has a Snapdragon 805 processor, which is 2.7 gigahertz quad core. It has 3 gigabytes of RAM, 32 gigabytes and 64 gigabytes storage capacities are available with this phone also. The display is measured at 5.3 inches measured diagonally and also has a resolution of 2560 by 1440, which is a PPI at 565, which is pretty massive. Most iPhones have a pixel density of around 300, so that's 200 more. So that's pretty crazy that this phone has a really high PPI. Well, a lot of phones have high PPI now, but you don't really notice the difference, but it still is a lot better compared to iPhones and other phones out. This phone also has a huge 3,900 milliamp battery, which is very massive. You definitely probably can really get a 2-day battery out of this one for sure. It also is rocking a high pixel camera on the rear, which is a 21 megapixel camera, which is pretty crazy. Definitely can get some high resolution pictures with that one. It is also capable of recording in 4K resolution, but only for up to 5 minutes. It also has a low resolution front facing camera at 2 megapixels, which is kind of bummer compared to the back camera, which is such a heavy shooter, but the front camera is not that much, but it's still pretty good, so you can definitely get yourself a game on. It also has the basic stuff, Wi-Fi, LTE. It's going to be running only in Verizon mostly because this phone is a Verizon only thing. All Droid phones have always been on Verizon, and this one is not going to change. It's always going to be on Verizon, but it does have a massive battery. If you are someone that has a Verizon contract, I would definitely recommend getting this phone. You have a great battery, a great rear camera, great processing, great software, and everything combined together, which makes a great phone. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you guys like this video. I'll be doing lots more videos coming out soon. I have the iPhone 6 review. I have a video coming up on what's on my iPhone 6 and lots of other stuff with this great camera. I hope you guys like this video. It's shot by the Canon T5i, which is my new camera. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure to like this video, share it on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. It's free. And I'll see you guys next time. Like I said, 125 billion times. Peace.